She's back again. Welcome to my YouTube channel. They call me Booktician. I got braids. You better mind your business. And we're going to do a Goodreads recommendation review. I was like, what the hell is the words? Okay. On to another one. Horror for Beginners. A guide to horror reading based on your go-to genre. Let's see what we have. Horror for fantasy readers. Let's see if I agree. Midnight Room. I soft DNF'd that one, meaning that I started it and didn't finish it and it went back. A Path of Thorns, never read. Strange Beasts, never read. The Butcher of the Forest, never read. Never Whistle at Night, I think is really good. I think that's really good. Because Never Whistle at Night, it was edited by Shane Hawk, and then Theodore C. Van, I forget his last name, but I've been following Shane, or was following Shane for a while on Twitter, when I did have Twitter, and I don't have it anymore. And I just really liked his takes and thoughts about Indigenous horror. And Never Whistle at Night is one of my favorite anthologies. And typically I don't like anthologies, but this one was done really well. And the thing that I love about Black and Indigenous writers is how we can turn something that is really steeped into our culture and make it horror. And I've said that before. And I think Never Whistle at Night was done in that manner, where these people from different Indigenous communities talked about something in their culture and made it very terrifying. So I really enjoyed reading Never Whistle at Night. Now, Starling House, I've never read. And I remember there was something about this book when it came out, but don't give me the lie on the internet. The Salt Crow's Heavy. I haven't read that. Now, Ring Shout. I think I would agree for Ring Shout for fantasy readers. For sure. Yeah. P. DeJelly Clark is that guy. And Aaron, you do need to read that one. Dumart, never heard of. The Legend of Charlie Fish, never heard of. Vinco, I own that one, haven't read it yet. And then The Ghosts of Gwendolyn Montgomery, I own that one too, I just haven't read it yet. Horror for romance readers. This is like one that I'm really gonna suck at because I don't know. So when I'm looking at this list, we got Hungerstone, we have Fry Shade, we have The Resurrectionists, and we have Bloom. There's some Bloom supremacy in the chat, correct? I'm also talking to my Patreon as I do this. I need support. Vampires of El Norte. I definitely agree for fantasy writers. Like, absolutely. Like, those two main characters, the tension, the longing, the feeling of, I call it false betrayal because it's just like perception. And yes, absolutely. House of Hunger. Definitely, if you're in a toxic situation and you like reading toxic situations, definitely House of Hunger. Definitely. Such Sharp Teeth. I'm not a Rachel Harrison girly, but if you are, absolutely. The Gilded Stories is haunting me again. It's haunting me again. I can't tell you much about it, but I do want to read it. Maybe that's one of the books I read before the end of the year. Like, I really prioritize that. So now for horror for sci-fi readers. I do dibble in a sci-fi. They call it science fiction for some of us who don't know. But I haven't got into science, not got in. I haven't read a lot of science fiction recently because I just haven't been doing it, but I wanted that to be my year and it didn't happen. Just a Girl by Alyssa Cole. I love Alyssa Cole. I love her writing and I'm sure that's dope. And I love that she is expanding to different genres. So, you know, you gotta feel it. I'm so happy for you, but if you hate it, no, you don't. Anonymous 2.0 got jokes. So Wild Spaces, never read that. And then The Backbone of the World, I've never read that too. It's an Amazon original and I don't have Kindle Unlimited anymore to my knowledge. I always seem to get got. I should check. I always seem to be missing said coins from said bank account from said billionaire. You get me? Okay. So Foe, never read that. The Memory Ward. Our Hideous Protogeny. I don't know if Eden. This is for sci-fi, right? Okay. Tender as the Flesh is a book I've wanted to read. Actually, Lakewood? Megan Giddings. Yes. For sci-fi readers? Yes. And yeah, I think Lakewood would be really good because, you know, this book also plays to the Tuskegee experiment going completely wrong. It's kind of like not a reimagining of that in current context in a way. So Natural Beauty, haven't read that, but you know, ooh, Anonymous 1.0 or Anonymous 1, you know the words. Tender is the Flesh is so good. Okay, well, I'm glad I got one to read. Now, horror for murder mystery readers. Ooh, I Remember You. I've never read that. The Broken Girls. Simone St. James is not getting enough love for people I know who read horror, so I have been stiff-arming that author for some time. The Whistling, the cover. I'm just saying, they look cool. River Woman, River Demon is what I've been trying to read. Bad Cree, I've been trying to read forever. For mystery readers, I think this Cursed House was a great pick too. Absolutely. But I'm wondering if the person who did this also did the other list, because there's millions of books in the world and I'm seeing a lot of repeats. The Sharp of Darkness, didn't read that. Katrina Ward, Little Eve, you know, Burn Negative, Huggle Suckle, Honeysuckle. Dyslexia is really trying to take me out. Okay, horror for crime thriller readers. Nowhere. Something's in the Walls. A History of Fear. Never read them. But Ramona Emerson, Shudder. Yeah. Oh yeah. Book 2 is called Exposure. Oh yeah, I can definitely see how that is for the crime thriller readers. For sure. And then Blizzard, The Devil All the Time, The Best of Both Worlds, Bat Eater and Other Names for Cora Zing. I haven't finished that. Definitely No One Is Watching by Alyssa Cole. Absolutely. I would add that. The Ghost Tree, I've never read it. Red X, I never read it. And The Lamb, I've never read it. Anonymous 2.0, Goodreads only has 3 employees. They only know but so many books. Okay. Looking Glass Sound. Never read it. Their Eyes Are the Best Part. I've been trying to read that forever. Forever in a lifetime. And Just Like Home. Forever in a lifetime. Haven't gotten to it. And then Jackal. Mystery? Yes. So if memory serves me right, Shudder is I think it has to do. Yeah. I just had to remind myself that I was right with Shudder. Yeah, Shudder is really good. Because it truly is a mystery if you're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on. And then the same is for Jackal. So I think when we go to the header of horror for crime thrillers, because there is crimes being committed in Shudder, and there's also crimes being committed in Jackal. So, and if you're looking for the interview that I did with the author of Jackal, Aaron E. Adams, that is somewhere on my channel. I probably should put it somewhere too for easy access. So horror for gothic readers. We have A Good House for Children. She's trying to steal from Tananarive Due, obviously. No, I'm just kidding. The Good House for Children, I haven't read that. A Woman in the Mirror, I haven't read that. Gray Dog, I haven't read that. And My Darling Dreadful Thing, I've been trying to read. So we go to the comments. I like The Eyes Are the Best. Okay, Aaron, I tend to like what you like too. So, we barely have miscommunications on that. Okay, so The Wakenhurst. I've never read that. I've never read Carrion Crow. The Death of Jane Lawrence. This is really exposing me. The Devil and Mrs. Davenport. The Year of the Witching, really, really love. So if we go back to the header for Gothic readers, absolutely. Man, Our Share of Night haunts me again. The Hacienda. Isabel Cañas, really good. The Silent Companions. I'm going to actually just want to read that because that looks dope. Mexican Gothic, absolutely. I would absolutely agree with that. The Manor of Dreams. I'm going to have to come back to this list because there's some house books I could read, maybe 2 and talk about it. The Hacienda was good to me, Aaron. It was good. The pace was like medium throughout the whole book. It wasn't fast paced and it wasn't slow. So, Where the Dead Brides Gather. I haven't read that. And then Salt and Broom. Haven't read that either. Now, for the historical fiction baddies, that's where I like to reside. The Bewitching, enjoyed it. I finished it a couple weeks ago, I think. The Riding Room, I haven't read. To the Bone, I haven't read. The Butcher's Daughter, I didn't read it. The Hunt, yeah, it's the 3 employees because A Theory of Haunting is back at it again. Victorian Psycho, Fox Ash, and then The Reformatory by Tananarive Due, 5 stars. Silver Nitrate by Sylvia Moreno Garcia, I got as a Libro FM partner, and I need that. The Forever, Elma Katsu, Between Two Fires. The Forever, I've been trying to read, haven't gotten to it. George R.R. Martin has never ever crossed my mind as an author to read, but I will watch Game of Thrones. That's my business. Victorian Psycho is weird. Okay. Like, how weird? Like, what do you find that's weird? Between Two Fires. When the Reckoning Come, 5 stars. Absolutely. For the Gothic baddies. Lone Wolf, 5 stars. Absolutely for the Gothic baddies. Sanctuary. I think I may have gave Lone Women 4 stars. I'm not sure. I'd have to check. Hold on. Let me check. Let me check my story graph. I still will recommend books that are 3 and up that I read. So, yeah, I gave it 4 stars. Yep. I read it October 26th last year. Okay, allegedly. Because sometimes I have to make updates because I'm be late to doing things. Now, the best book on this whole list that I've read, which is 4 books, this is the biggest one, The Buffalo Hunter. And Blood Slaves, I really want to read. I heard it was great. And I also want to read The Hong Kong Widow. Yep. Okay, so horror for literary fiction readers. Let's see. Tantrum, Sour Cherry, Woodworm, Where I End, never read them. Monstrillo, I don't know if that's or Monstrillo, but I'm going to say Monstrillo, is Monstrillo, sorry. I saw a whole Y, that was not there. I've heard good things about it. Child Grey, Green Fuse Burning, Sisters, never read those. Perfume, Hag, Plague of Gills, never read those, but Mapping the Interior. For fiction, literary fiction? Yeah, I think that will go. And then Fever Dream, absolutely. Fever Dream was a fever dream, and I don't think I had a great time reading that. Now, horror for nonfiction readers. This is where I need to be, hitting stuff. Haunted History, Strange in Fiction, Into the Forest, and all the way through. I'm just 100 horror books to read before you're murdered. Yikes, why I love horror. Okay. I'm liking these. Horror for weenies. Interesting. Monster, She Wrote. I'll be adding that. Yeah. Okay, so that's a list of, I would say, 90% of what I did not read. I'm not a statistician or anything, but, that's how I feel. Anyway, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. And I'll see you on a good one, on a new one, somewhere, sometime in the streets. See you later. Bye.